Welcome back to Faith Works. I'm your host, Yazmin, and today's guest is beautiful inside and out. She's a media personality, and she's also the key account manager for Hennessy. Never stop, never settle. Valerie Lora is a magnificent businesswoman and creator. She knows what it takes to get the job done. Valerie is the mother of two beautiful girls, Nia and Zoe, and you can listen to Val share great parenting advice on the new podcast, Moms on Air. Valerie also represents Team Hennessy, New Jersey, and she is killing it. Valerie continues to prove that hard work pays off and never, ever give up. Welcome to the show, Valerie. Woo, woo. So happy to have you on Faith Works.
I'm so happy to be here.
Yes. First of all, Valerie and I met years ago.
Many moons ago. I think I was like 17, 16.
I think you were. We worked together at BET and we've been friends ever since.
Yeah, we had like that instant connection.
Yes, we did. So, Valerie, are you ready?
Dun, dun, dun. Okay, now I'm ready.
Well, let's get spiritual. Valerie, were you raised to believe in God?
It's crazy because I feel like when I talk about myself in any environment, that's such a defining thing in the way I think, operate, how I treat people, and everything that I do. That's kind of the first thing I say. I've worked in entertainment and music for a long time, and I work in alcohol or spirits. But I feel like two things that kind of define me. I grew up Pentecostal and I grew up in Newark. So those are like two things that are very definitive to like how I think and operate.
Yes.
And growing up as a kid, we would go to church 7 times a week.
What was that like for you? Were you able to adapt to the religion very quickly? Explain your experience.
I want to say I was like 6, 7 years old, and we grew up in Newark High Street, if anybody knows New Jersey. And our environment was very rough. So for me, going to church was that escape. That's where all my friends were. That's where we would do like Tuesdays, it's like, you know, Bible class. Wednesdays was prayer group. Fridays, so every day was different programming. And that's where I felt free. At home, like my parents would be like, don't pass the tree and you can't play over there. So I was very limited and I, didn't really fraternize with too many people. So church was everything.
So Valerie is a big believer in God's plan. So explain to everyone why you always trust God's plan.
Oh my God. Sometimes I feel like, you know how there's that person that people call if they're in trouble, they need help, or when things are dark or whatever. I'm that person to a lot of my friends.
She really is.
And to me, like, and just things that my mother has told me or watching other people's experience, I always, sometimes, you see the end plan in people's journey and then people forget the in between. So in giving advice to people, that's like one of my big takeaways. Like, sometimes we can't see things through God's plan or through God's eyes, but we just have to trust the journey and know that, He has a plan. He's more powerful than we are. Like, and I always say, like, if He thinks about feeding the fishes in the ocean or how every tree is gonna grow and be nourished and every flower, what more us that are walking, talking beings?
I mean, hello.
Yeah,
I love that.
Are a key in God's plan, and He has an exact purpose, day you're born, day you pass, things that happen in between, bearing children, not bearing children. Like, I think of life like this big game or like this big storyboard that God is drawing out, and He knows exactly what each piece is.
Exactly, and everything just connects in some form, His work is so beautiful. Now, oftentimes people say, I don't look like what I've been through. So I want to know from Valerie, what storms have you gone through? And how was God able to bring you to the light?
I feel like human life is a constant storm.
Girl, who you telling?
And for people who are creatives or go-getters, you receive the blessing from God, right? You prayed for it, you're in it. And then you're in it and you're like, all right, God, thanks. I need this new thing, or I need this other blessing. And then part of like me recognizing that I have been through storms is also like enjoying the beauty of that rainbow after the storm each time. Because I don't think life is this big tsunami and then you enjoy. It's just constant lessons and constant experiences that allow you to remember that you are just a small piece in God's plan, but you are part of God's plan. For me, I was a single mom at one point. I was on public assistance at one point. I've had great career opportunities. I feel like I've had everything I've ever prayed for. really, like everything I've ever prayed for. But in the same note, I've been in very, very needy situations. I come from a low-income family. My parents don't really speak the language. We didn't have any money for college. Like, you know, so the good old immigrant story and the struggle with that, right? As a kid of an immigrant parent, you face a lot of challenges. And just growing up in Newark and in that urban community and not speaking the language in the beginning, like being in Newark and fit in a box there and just adapting to a new community and then it being a very dangerous community. Sitting in the fire escapes, we would be like, well, who's gonna steal a car this weekend? And whose pictures at the tree with the candles?
Newark could be rough.
Yeah, like for me, like the tree on the corner, I would go see like whose picture and whose candles were lit that week. That's what it was like. So for a lot of people, like church is like, my mom's dragging me to church. For my family, it was like, yes, let's go to church.
Let's go.
And then Sunday, the Chinese buffet right after church.
Classic. Always hit up the Chinese buffet or IHOP after church.
Right. That was my life, my journey. Then I get to high school and I'm like, Mom, I kind of don't want to wear denim skirts and Timberlands when it snows. And I would like roll my jeans in and like change in school. I remember having a meeting with my pastor, like, because as a kid, I was very demanding even then. We had a meeting with the pastor and we're like, listen, pastor, we're going to take this top floor. We're going to make a children's church because we're tired of falling asleep on Sunday on the 2-hour sermon.
Look at you being a boss at a young age.
And he will tell you because he's like a celebrity pastor in the Latin world. And we had a meeting with him. I brought my little notebook and we're like, we're going to do our own church and we're going to preach and we're going to sing our songs and let's try it. And if you don't like it, then we won't do it. Girl, we tried it. They still do it to this day.
So you made an impact at that church.
Yeah, like, and he, I see him now. He's like, oh, I remember, you know, you were such a boss, even from a kid. You sat there, you went to my secretary, you got a meeting with me, and then our children's church was everything.
When did you discover your God-given purpose? Was it around that time?
You know what's crazy? Now that you even say that, church was my first platform and audience for knowing that I like to speak in front of people, that I don't know if it's like the attention of an audience, but at like 13, 14 years old, our congregation was very like mixed, right? They had, the youth was big, like, you know, we had, I want to say our church had like a revival or some kind of awakening and we had like a lot of people coming in. And because I was so boss at like 8, 9, and we had our children's church where I would kind of preach sometimes or do the announcements or whatever.
That's so bold at 8 years old. My goodness.
So the pastor let me translate some Sundays at like 13.
That's a big job.
Big job.
It
Congregation's
is.
like 6.
It's pretty much like being the pastor because you have to translate everything. That's a big responsibility.
Girl, so he would do the Spanish, I would translate into English. I did it, I want to say like 4 times, but it was a very big deal.
Yeah, of course.
You know, like because I'm in front of the whole congregation, plus Spanish. Especially Spanish is very like, it's Bible is like Castilian Spanish. So I speak very good Spanish. That's thanks to the church again. And then they developed like a video program. So that's when I like fell in love with, I like speaking in front of people.
And you discover your purpose right there and then because speaking to the congregation made you realize, wow, there's something here.
I have their attention, they're listening. Like, I liked it, I really did.
Prayer, very important. Why is prayer so important to you in your life and how often do you pray?
You know, it's crazy that I don't like kneel and pray. Like my prayer is like a constant all day thing. It's weird because
conversational.
Yeah, like before when I was younger, my mother is what is known as an intercessor. I don't know if I'm translating it right. So she's constantly praying for other people, for people she doesn't know. She's like, she wakes up sometimes, I'm praying for the president of Venezuela. And I'm like, Ma, you don't know it? She's like, yeah, today in my heart, Cuba is very heavy and I'm praying for the neighbor. I'll be like, Ma, you spoke to her one time.
Now, faith. I can't live without faith. What is your definition of faith?
Faith, the biggest, when I think of faith, I think of that verse and I can't remember it in English verbatim. Remember, I'm a Spanish Christian. Like if you had faith like a grain of a mustard seed.
Faith of a mustard seed. Yeah. That's all you need is faith the size of a mustard seed.
Right. And sometimes you don't believe in yourself, right? And you don't need to. right? Because God believes in you. And like I said, he feeds that fish in that ocean. So what more is he going to do for you, right? That are serving him, that we're living here, his purpose.
Right.
So for me, it's a constant journey, constant balance, and just trying to figure it out. I feel like some people meet me and they're like, oh, I admire you and you have it all planned out. And I'm like, guess what?
I don't.
No, we don't. I don't think none of us do.
Now, sometimes though, our faith is tested. And when that happens, I know sometimes myself feels discouraged, but then I gotta quickly go to a scripture or talk to friends that can encourage me again. But we all have different methods of handling that. So I wanna know from you, how do you react when your faith is tested?
I cry. But back to going to church, right? Like that Sunday, like refueling, like, and having good people around you that can keep you balanced. One of the things that's a gift that God gave me, it's the whole missionary philanthropy thing. And this is how I keep my faith going, try to serve God's plan. And I know that that's God's purpose for me because I am happy when I do it. I would do it and pay to do it. Like I would pay to help someone. It makes me happy.
Valerie has a heart of gold, guys. And I am so happy you brought that up because I love what Valerie is doing for her community as well as the kids in DR. So tell us about the partnership that you have out in DR with the beautiful kids that you're serving there. You just build like a center for them. I'm so happy for you.
It was God, it wasn't us. We were just the vessels. And I've never felt that statement be so real than in how that organization or the building came along. It was like over $180,000 to put together the entire project. It took 4 years. And I use even work kind of to help me raise the funds, doing Hennessy sponsored events. And then my friends, the community was so helpful. It started with, after the earthquake, I went to Haiti, I met this kid. The kid was like, oh, you're gonna leave and come back. You're gonna see me like the museum, like everybody else does, take pictures and go back. And I was like, oh man, I gotta come back and see this kid. And I was like, when I come back, what do you want me to bring you? That's what I said to him. He's like, sneakers. Because I go get water for my mom and I have big infections on my feet. He showed me his feet. I gave him my sneakers. Then I was in the airport with dusty sandals.
I mean, your heart just goes out to them. Girl, I know, because I was in DR and I was like, here, take my sneakers.
Your underwear.
I know, I was like, take it. My sister was like, you just got those shoes. I was like, I don't care.
Right. So this boy was very impactful in my life. So I find this community on the border of Haiti and DR with the ladies from My Wellness Solution in Harlem. If you ever need some good
Yes,
time
shout out to those girls because they're super dope.
And the mom, she's from this remote, small village on the border. They were so gracious. They donated this land, her family, and we kind of built on it. So we had we thought it was gonna be a year project. You're right, it took 4 years, but we fundraised, we did events, we did raffles, we had dinners. We were like, what else can we do? And long story short, thanks to Inda, because she put a lot of her savings into it, we were able to do the groundbreaking this past November. And the center is up and running. We built the first library in the community. We have running water in there. The kids are like, we're so happy we have a roof that it won't rain on us when we're trying to do our programming. That's what they were grateful for. I have my new goal, because right after you have the center, we had to put toilets and beds and stuff in there. So now I'm like, all right, we have the first library. I want 30 computers. That's my new goal. By the summer, I'm trying to get 30 computers to bring to the kids. Yes. You want to know the possibilities that will happen when first they got power and water. Now they're going to have a whole library.
Yes, with computers.
Right, and I'm committed. I'm like, if I can't get it through donations or through people, I'm going to get a credit card. I found on Best Buy $200 desktops.
We can do GoFundMe. If you have a computer at home that you're not utilizing, you know exactly where to donate it to.
Right. We just need desktops, like the school ones, because it's more for teaching, for tools for the kids. But that's great, that makes me so happy.
So not only does Val look out for the kids in DR, but Valerie also gives back to the teens out here in Patterson, New Jersey. You partnered with Angela Yee last year for a Teen Summit event. What was that like?
So that's actually the police department in Patterson. They do an event every year, and they bring cool influencers to talk to the children. So it was like panel style, and we separated into different areas. So me, Angela, and like 4 other women, we did the panel with the girls.
Yes, a lot of girls.
A lot of girls, like a gym full of girls.
Filled with girls.
And they had great questions, and they were so sassy, and it was very like, it took me back to like being a Jersey girl in high school, like stepping in the gym room, and like they were so cool, 100% inspired by our stories, and it was just great to hear how their minds work or how influential we kind of are to them.
So we live in the world of social media, and I know there's a subject that you're very passionate about. So Valerie says that, you know, we have a tendency of using filters a lot of times on Instagram, Twitter, whatever you name it. So it's almost like we're hating what God created. So why do you think self-love is the best love?
That topic is like a whole Pandora's box.
I know it is.
It is. Like right now I'm having a hard time adapting to the way our world is functioning. Everything is so, you know, shareable and social. And like for me, like my family, my kids, my private moments, when I'm having a really good time, I tend not to even share it. And I feel like when you're in entertainment or when you're a personality or, you know, in the work kind of that we do, it's kind of become part of what you're supposed to do. And I'm having a struggle with that. Another thing I'm having a struggle with is just meeting people and then they don't look like how they look online. Like, you know, like so many people, like they do the smooth out the skin and then you meet them and like, oh my God, you're breaking out so bad. Like what's good? But you can't tell, right? Because on social media, they just look flawless. Like, and it's so much of that, or like
It's true.
you thought they were so skinny and then you see them and you're like, oh no, wait, she was just like, I just feel like I live in a world full of like lies and deceit, and everyone's trying to figure out how to one up each other and pretending.
That's the part right there.
Like, and it's just very overwhelming.
It is overwhelming.
And I don't know how to take it. A false reality of what makes a human happy, and we're just being consumed, and it's tough even to like what we glorify. Like we're glorifying ratchetness.
We are.
We're glorifying Tatiana's whole activity, hopping
like,
on a handstand. Like all this stuff is just, there's no limit. There's no like BT after dark. Like that doesn't exist. It's just at all times of the day, during your feed, you can find the most explicit pornography you could ever see. And we're supposed to just be okay with it. I'm not okay with it, and I'm trying. I'm not saying it's wrong. You know, everyone can feel sexy and you can do what you do, but it's just a lot.
Valerie has 2 beautiful girls. I love them so much. They're so cool, Nia and Zoe. Yes. And you also have your hubby, yes, DJ Ramos. So I want to know, how do you keep your kids grounded?
I don't know if they're grounded. The Zoe, let's just say, it's like this super diva. Nia is like warm, fuzzy, like Ray's another diva. So like we got like all these personalities. I just feel like I've always talked to them like if they were little grown-ups. You know, I've never like baby talked to my kids. And if you speak to them, a lot of people are like, wow, they're so mature, they're so well-spoken. And it's because I treat them with respect, and I talk to them like, if, you know, like from early on, like, you know, I don't be like, you want your milky wilky? I'd be like, do you want your milk? The other day we had Ray's a DJ on Power 105, so he has like rapper friends. The other day we had Jermaine here, so we're like, and he's like, oh my God, I love your family dynamic, because you know, Ray opens the door, Zoe's on his shoulder, I'm like cooking something, I'm like, wait, you want some chicken? When I open the door, and then the kids go outside. Ray has like a really nice car. Ray has a Maybach. Jermaine, it's Mano, but the kids call him Jermaine. Jermaine has a white Maybach. So Nia goes outside like, wow, mommy, 400,000. I'm like, what are you talking about? That's how much money in the driveway. And I was like, how do they even know like the value of each of the cars? And then Jermaine comes inside and he's playing with them and chilling. And then one time his song's on the radio and Ray told him like, oh, remember Uncle Jermaine? That's Mano, he's an artist. And they're like, oh. So you know, like sometimes Dasha, like they'll be like, Titi Dasha's on TV.
I know.
Like, so like some people are cool and they don't really know till after. I don't really tell them like, this is a celebrity.
You started this podcast called Moms on Air with Shireen and Stephanie. How'd that come about?
That's my therapy session. So being a mom has a lot of layers, right? There's the whole pregnancy thing, and then you give birth, you kind of lose yourself, you get kind of chunky, you get these stretch marks. It is a whole process. And the only way to deal with that process as a human is to find other humans who suffer with you. Just kidding, but we kind of uplift each other. And I feel like we're 3 different kind of moms, and our conversations are very organic, and we have these perspectives, and we just kind of share them and uplift and talk about the suffering part, the cool part, the not so cool. So
I love that you guys had Dasha as your first guest.
yes, that was our first guest, Dasha Polanco, and her thing was, I'm a effing mom. And she's like, don't put me in a box. Like, and she definitely is that kind of mom. She's a very cool mom.
So big congratulations to Valerie. She graduated with her bachelor's degree from William Patterson University.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, what was that moment like for you?
The best part was that my dad and my kids were like and Ray, they were in the audience.
They were, and when they saw you on the monitor.
Yeah. Valerie Lora. Yazmin, Daniel McCallum. Amanda Malawi.
Oh my God, it was so fun. I didn't know anybody, right? Because when you go to college, everyone's young, you're staying on campus. I was there like, yeah, I'm just the mom over here trying to get this paper, literally this certificate. But the best part was that I did it for them. Like, I didn't really need a degree for work right now. I'm sure in the future, if other opportunities or another job, but for right now, I didn't really need to have a degree. My job is strictly like influencer based. I already had, you need like 2 years of college for the position. I already had that. But I did get pregnant my last semester. I interned very early. I worked at BET early on. Yeah, so I was already working in entertainment. I was working for Eminem on radio. I was freelancing with BET still. So I'm like, I don't need this degree in television. I'm already working here. Then I get pregnant, kind of threw me off. 10 years passed. My daughter's 10 now. And one day she asked me like, hey mom, I want to go to college. She's like building out her whole dorm experience and everything. And she's like, when did you graduate? And I was like, go upstairs and do your homework. Like, and then I started to think about it, like, how am I gonna want them to go to college? And then I never really finished. And even that lingering over you, like not the feeling of no completion, right? I wanted to complete it. So I remember Hennessy reaching out and having an offer letter from the company, and then me getting an acceptance letter from the university, and me being like, now I have to pick. And being really nervous, like, oh, listen, I really, really want the position and I love the offer, but I just got accepted to college. I'm trying to figure it out. This is me, the friend asked me. Her name is Clarabelle Monte. And she was like, I'm gonna call you back. Girl, my entire team in New Jersey were like, we're moving our schedules, all our meetings, our calls. You're gonna go to school. Such a blessing. And I was doing both. Partying like a rock star, midterms, tests, being a mom, like just figuring it out and just boom, boom, dodging the bullets, watching God's plan unfold with a little faith, grain of mustard seed.
We mentioned here that Valerie works as a key account manager for Hennessy. She's doing big things at Hennessy, okay? She's working with a lot of celebrities. She's doing all these events. Tell us about what that experience has been.
Even what the title means, because even at work, we kind of struggle, like, well, what is the definition of our job? Because key account manager means some things and some So basically what I do is I manage the visibility of the brand in the state. And I partner with cool people or cool moments and just elevate the Hennessy brand. Hennessy is an amazing luxury spirit, and we do dope things. So I don't know, like I said, they allowed me to finish school, so I super love them. And then I get to be part of these dope dinners and experiences and events, and I get to elevate people. Like, we have a dinner program called the Privileged Toast. It's my favorite. And we take local leaders or celebrities or community people, and we just share a moment with them, raise a glass and toast over their accomplishments and how they contribute to our community.
So Valerie, do you have a favorite Bible scripture that you can share with us?
I do.
All right, let's hear it.
My favorite scripture would have to be Psalms 23. In church, that's how we would end when we would leave. And since my Christian me is in Spanish, I'm going to give it to you in Spanish. Is that okay? Sí, Jehová es mi pastor y nada me faltará. En lugares de delicados pastos me hará descansar. Junto a aguas de reposo me pastoreará. Confortará mi alma y me guiará por sendas de justicia por amor de su nombre. Aunque ande en barra de zona de muerte, no temeré mal alguno, porque tú estarás conmigo. Tu vara y tu callado me infundirán aliento. Aderezas mesas delante de... it's so long, okay? The Lord is my shepherd, I lack nothing. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside quiet waters. He refreshes my soul. He guides me along the right path for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley in the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. You are with me. You are my rod. You are my staff. They comfort me. That's a very powerful.
That's a good one. Very powerful. The Lord is my shepherd. Yes. Okay, Valerie. So now it's time for my favorite part. It is time to give. So here we have the treasure box.
I just want to say something. Yazmin is the most thoughtful friend I have. She is that friend who you haven't seen in a long time and will mail you a Christmas card.
Yes.
And send you, like, let's say if you do something for her, she'll send you a thank you present. Yes. She came to me and brought my kids Easter presents. Like, she's so thoughtful. It's something I need to work on.
I just love to give, and I want to encourage you all out there, give. Send out thank you cards. Send out Christmas cards. It means something. Look how happy Val feels about that Christmas card.
Because I'm like, I need to be like that.
Yes, it's okay. We all can. Now I want to give Valerie a gift because I'm so grateful for you being here on Faith Works. So here we have the treasure box. Put your hand in. Let's see what you get.
Is it like, I can pick anything?
You have to close your eyes, Val.
Oh, I do? Wait, I'm going to cheat because I want to.
All right.
Yay!
Let's see, what did you get? Ooh, that's a pretty bracelet. It's like angel wings.
Yeah.
I love it. It's gonna look good on you. You're welcome, Val. Mwah. Yes, now before you go, do you have a testimony or a confession you want to make?
It's not even a confession or a testimony. It's more of today, just sitting here talking about my faith and how I need to bend on my knees with my daughter. Set a good example. Yeah. I'm almost gonna make a promise. I want to make a promise to be more committed to congregating and to taking my daughters to church on a more routine basis.
That was so good, Valerie. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. And again, Valerie, thank you for being here on Faith Works. I really appreciate it. Your story is so amazing. I hope it inspires all of you out there. And thank you guys for watching Faith Works. Please continue to watch every week. And also, please subscribe to my channel. And as always, walk by faith. That's right, guys. See you next time.
Hello, guys. My name is Valerie Lora. I am a creative, but I also represent Team Hennessy, New Jersey. New Jersey is an interesting state. It's very diverse. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of art. Newark is very unique. Newark has a lot of culture. It has that magic, and it's because of what Black creatives bring to it.